Arizona is a vast landscape defined by its arid desert lands, steep canyons, coniferous forests, agricultural fields, and growing cities. From the floor of the Grand Canyon to the nearly 1 million acres of crops, Arizona is defined by water, both its presence and its absence. The state has a number of popular and well-known rivers. There is also a vast network of small but mighty and very important intermittent and ephemeral streams and rivers, streams that only flow seasonally or after rainstorms or runoff from snowpack. For as long as humans have been on the landscape, they've been using and managing water. Indigenous people have shepherded water through irrigation for thousands of years. Prior to the arrival of Anglo settlers, there was enough water for indigenous people to sustainably grow crops. Now, Western water laws dictate the way that water moves in and around the state. That law is complicated and important. And when it comes to water in Arizona, here are some of the important points to know. Number 1. The Colorado River provides Arizona with 36% of supplies needed for tribes, cities, and agricultural production. From its headwaters in Colorado to the Gulf of California, where the river used to meet the ocean, 7 states in the country of Mexico rely on the Colorado River. And, based on the legal agreements in place, Arizona is first in line for serious cutbacks if there are shortages. Number 2. Arizona doesn't just rely on the Colorado River. 21% of water in Arizona comes from in-state rivers. And the missing bulk? It comes from water underground. This critical source accounts for nearly 40% of water used in the state. Psst! Belly up to the bar after this for an in-depth look at groundwater and surface water. Because if you don't know what those are, you're not alone. But they're pretty important when it comes to your day-to-day. What you need to know about groundwater for now is that it is managed differently throughout the state, which makes it hard to keep track of. And in many parts of the state, groundwater is being depleted much more rapidly than it's being recharged. Groundwater isn't the only important source of water that's being threatened. Due to recent federal changes to the Clean Water Act, many of the state's ephemeral streams and creeks may be vulnerable to pollution and degradation. Though small, these tributaries are mightily important for humans and wildlife. So this all sounds a bit scary or overwhelming, but here's the exciting part. Regular Arizonans like you and me have a huge say in what happens next for water in our state. First, we need to understand it. Don't worry, I've got you covered there. Have a seat. And we need to stay engaged. Here are some ways you can stay connected to Arizona's water security, which is inextricably linked to Arizona's economic security and the way all of us get to keep calling this awesome place home. Learn more, stay engaged, use less water, encourage your local representatives to manage water wisely. For more info, visit waterforarizona.com and tune into episode 2 for a mini course in Groundwater 101.